Hello and welcome to Bible Bytes, the daily podcast that gives you a meaningful snippet of scripture in about the time it takes to drink your coffee. I'm your host, Brittany. This is episode 1, and we're starting at the very beginning. But not with what you might expect. We're not opening with In the Beginning, but with one of the most dramatic and foundational stories of faith ever told. We're calling it the Kickoff, why we're starting with a bang. Picture this, an old man, 100 years old or more. His name is Abraham. For decades, he and his wife Sarah were unable to have children. It was their greatest sorrow. Then, miraculously, God's promise came true. They had a son, Isaac. He wasn't just a son. He was the living, breathing proof of God's covenant, the guarantee of a future nation. Now imagine the unthinkable. God speaks to Abraham and gives him a command that seems to shatter that very promise. Take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering. The text doesn't describe Abraham's emotions. The silence is deafening, but we see his actions. Early the next morning, he gets up, saddles his donkey, and sets out with Isaac and 2 servants. For 3 days, they travel. 3 days to sit with this horrifying command. When they finally see the mountain in the distance, Abraham tells the servants, "Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there to worship, and then we will come back to you." Did you catch that? We will come back to you. Even here, there's a thread of faith. Isaac, innocent, carries the wood for his own sacrifice. He asks his father the heartbreaking question, "The fire and wood are here, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham's reply is one of the most profound statements of trust in the Bible. God himself will provide the lamb, my son. They build the altar. Abraham binds his son and lays him on top of the wood. As he raises the knife, an angel of the Lord calls out, "Abraham, Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know that you fear God because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Abraham looks up and sees a ram caught by its horns in a thicket. God had provided the lamb. He sacrifices the ram instead. And because of his unwavering faith, God reaffirms his promise. Through Abraham's offspring, all nations on earth would be blessed. This story is jarring. It's meant to be. In its ancient Near Eastern context, the pagan cultures around Israel practiced child sacrifice. This story establishes, right from the start, a fundamental difference. The God of Abraham does not require this. He provides a substitute. This theme of substitution, a sacrifice provided by God, echoes all the way through the Bible, right to the crucifixion of Jesus. So, what do we do with this today? It's not a lesson that God will ask us to do something horrific. Instead, it's a profound lesson about trust and provision. Reflection. Questions. The ultimate trust. Abraham's faith was in God's character, even when God's instructions seemed to contradict his promise. Is there an area in your life where what you see and what you believe about God's goodness seem to be in conflict? The provision. Abraham believed God would provide, even when he couldn't see how. When has life felt like you were climbing a mountain with no solution in sight? Were you able to look back and see where a ram appeared? A provision you didn't expect? Withholding nothing. The story is about not withholding what is most precious to us. What's the Isaac in your life? A dream, a relationship, a career, your comfort, that you need to hold with open hands before God? This story isn't about blind obedience to a tyrant. It's about a faith so deep that it trusts the promise giver, even when the promise itself seems lost. This was a heavy one to start with, but it's a cornerstone of the biblical story. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What did this passage bring up for you? Share your reflections with the community using the hashtag BibleBytesPod, or you can find us on social media handle or website. Tomorrow we're shifting gears entirely. We're jumping to the New Testament for a story Jesus told about a runaway son and a father's unbelievable love. The episode is called The Party Crasher. Thanks for listening to Bible Bytes. May your day be filled with peace and purpose.